Ron Richey, our guest on today's show. He's the
Director of Entertainment at the Golden Nugget Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
That's right.
welcome, Ron.
Welcome. Thank you guys for letting me come hang out with y'all.
Anytime, bro. I mean, we grew up together. Right?
Right. We've been around each other a little while.
Yeah. If anybody knows anything about entertainment, it's Big Ron, right?
That's it.
Right?
There's a little resemblance here. A little resemblance
Just a
between
little
two
bit.
guys.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Especially in the middle, right?
Big time.
Ron's not only a director, but he's a good cook. He's got some jambalaya for us. We're going to talk about that in Louisiana Eats and Treats in a little while. But right now, let's talk to Ron. Ask Ron how he got started in the entertainment business and talent business.
Well, it's funny. It's growing up in Gonzales, Louisiana. They had a guy, Van Broussard, and we all went to see him, and we used to go to the fairs and all that. And I started with his brother, Henry Broussard. Started setting up for him, and I remember going to Jambalaya Festival when it's still on the Burnside right there in the middle of town, and setting them up and doing that. And that's kind of how I started. And my first, I guess, real gig was a paying gig was with a band called Nana Shah. A band that travels throughout the southeast United States and a lot in Louisiana. They've been around a long time. They was a church band at St. Mark's Catholic Church. And anyway, I started with them. And my first show was actually in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
What?
I drove all the way to Lake Charles by myself because they called me and said, hey, we need you. And they had an ad in the paper I put in for it. And they called me, well, we need you that day, 3 hours. So 3 hours later, I was in Lake Charles, Louisiana doing a show at the Lake Charles Civic Center in the Buccaneer Room on the third floor. One of the head,
Yeah.
Pretty cool deal. So that's kind of how I started with that, and then I went in with some other bands, Kane Glaze and Cousin. Cousin.
We talked about him the other day with Tony Dago and Techno Sound. We were in there.
Yeah.
We're in A Million Reasons Why.
Million Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Kane wrote a lot of those tunes, and Kane, great band. I mean, we're the biggest band in Ascension Parish, and those guys were just killing it. And we did a lot of shows with them, and then of course worked with them. And then after that, I just kind of did my own little thing, doing a lot of bands around LSU and all that sound company, and did some Mardi Gras balls in New Orleans, and just got all that. And then how I got in the casino business was I got called one night to go to Boomtown Casino in New Orleans on the West Bank, and to work with Glenn Campbell.
Really? I didn't realize it was Glenn you were.
It was Glenn Campbell the first time there. And I went there to work with the production company, and the girl that worked at Boomtown said, hey, we just got rid of our sound guy, and you know anybody that would want to work? I said, well, I'm interested. And I was working for John Fosse at the time, Chef John Fosse, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll do
you were
that.
studio engineer for him, right?
Yeah, I was doing some engineering for him. Him with Mike Steen and doing his radio show.
Right.
We did his radio show.
Great trumpet player.
Yeah, Mike passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I told the lady, I said, yeah, I'll come do it for a couple of weeks. I'll be fine. It was 4 nights a week. I would drive back and forth from Gonzales, about 70 miles, and still work at John Fosse's and do that. And so 1 week turned into 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and then after 3 or 4 months, they said, hey, we'd like to hire you. And that's how I got the gig. And so I went to stayed at Boomtown for almost 3 years. I left a month before Katrina.
Oh, wow.
Left a month in 2005, July 4th weekend. I moved to Lake Charles. Worked at LeBairs, which is a sister property, and I helped them open that place up. And so I ended up transferring there. I went there to help out for 3 days, and I ended up staying 8 years in Lake Charles at LeBairs. And then,
But you also helped open up the Baton Rouge Casino.
yeah, in the meantime, in 2012, we opened up LeBairs Baton Rouge, and that was got to open that property up, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And after that, I left LeBairs and went to Margaritaville in Bossier City.
Bossier City.
Doing the same thing. I was doing entertainment, so just doing the entertainment at LeBairs and at Margaritaville, and I stayed there a year and a half, and then the Golden Nugget project was coming up, so I opened that property up too. So I basically opened up 3 properties in 3 years.
Yeah.
So in 2012, I opened up Baton Rouge, LeBairs Baton Rouge. 2013, I opened up Margaritaville, and then it just happened to be 2014, December of 2014, I opened up Golden Nugget.
What influenced you to get started and all that? I mean, I know you were hauling some equipment around for Henry B. and them and doing that type of stuff, whatever. But what really made you wake up one day and say, "Yeah, I like this stuff"?
You know what really got me, man? I was watching one night. I remember watching Volunteer Jam with Charlie Daniels one night, and watching it with Mom and Dad on TNN, the old TNN. They had a cat on there playing guitar, very superstition, and he was like chomping on the guitar. It's like, man, who is this guy? It's got SRB on the guitar. It's like, I had no idea what it was. It's like, what is this? This guy just turned me on. And
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
right. So the next day, I went to the music store, and they had Wayne. I used to work at the music store over there. I said, hey, man, they had somebody on TV last night, and he was playing Very Superstition, which is a Stevie Wonder song. And
You wore that thing out, man.
well, I said, who is this guy? SRV. So that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. I said, well, get me that song. So he gave me the Live Alive album.
Yeah.
Record. It was a cassette.
Yeah.
And I wore that thing out. I still got it somewhere in my warehouse probably. And that was that kind of blew me away.
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, the one that did it. Of course, being from Gonzales and growing up, and you played around there, all the shows you played, and so much music around Gonzales. And I think it was a combination of that. But Stevie Ray Vaughan really turned me on and woke me up. It's like, man, I would like to do something like this.
Yeah, I used to tell people at one time Gonzales was almost like a mini Nashville. I mean, there was a great music scene out there with a lot of places to play, a lot of influences, a lot of young people that were really interested in music. And it was a growing, thriving thing in that area at one time when they used to have a festival downtown on 44,
right, on 44.
Park Stadium.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's football field. Yeah. And George Bitzer. You remember George Bitzer?
Yeah.
George Bitzer played with the Bee Gees, played on some of the records with the Bee Gees, and he played on some of the Canes records too. On that Million Reasons Why, he played some parts on that. He told me one time, he was from New York, and he told me, he said, between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, there's more musicians in this area than there is in New York. Good musicians, great musicians, and we have great musicians in South Louisiana, all the way from Lake Charles and New Orleans. You can't get no better than that.
Yeah, we spoke about that in our last introduction episode.
Sure.
About the talent we grew up with out there. Randy Carpenter, Bush.
Yeah.
He's playing with LaRue now, and man, Trey Landry.
Trey Landry's playing with
Randy
Howes.
Randy Howes. I mean, there's a long
Brian
list.
playing with Sonny Landry.
Well, you got Sonny Landry. Well, you also got to think, you got Big Luther Kent. Used to play. He did 2 years with Blood, Sweat, Tears. From Baton Rouge, he played with Blood, Sweat, and Tears for 2 years. Never recorded with him, but he was their lead singer because Clayton Thomas quit, and he took his place. And I remember a guy from Chicago, Bill Champlin, told me he played with Chicago for a long time, and he wrote some hits for some people. And he told me one time he was riding from Vegas to L.A. And the guy said, with the Kennedys, and you. He said, yeah, man, I noticed him one night driving from Vegas to L.A. and had this cat singing, and it was Big Luther Kent. He said, I got to know who this is. This guy from Baton Rouge, went to Baton Rouge High. So you got him, you got Harold Coward. We know Harold. Harold played with the Bee Gees.
John Fred.
Ryan Fred. That's right.
Well, when I worked for Harold out at Bluff Road Studios, Big Luther came out there, and John Fred actually funded it. He came out and paid for him to record one song.
Sure.
And man, it was a phenomenal song, and they never did anything with it. It was Luther Kent was this man.
Man, he's a soul blues singer as they get, man.
And we talked about Grace Broussard last week before she was on American Bandstand in 1964.
You know a few Broussards.
Yeah.
I know a couple of
We know a few Broussards.
You know that Grace's #1 hit, I'll leave it up to you, was #1 when John F. Kennedy got shot that day. She was there that day. That was a #1 song.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, that was a #1 song. She was at the parade.
Wow.
She seen him before he got assassinated. He passed right by him. Ellen Grace was in Dallas that day.
Amazing story.
That's incredible.
Amazing story.
From Prairieville, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break, and we want to remind you about Consolidated Artists. Hoyt, tell them a little bit about
Consolidated
Arts.
LLC. We do websites. We do live recordings. We do recordings. Technology stuff. We do anything to do with technology, really, and PA rentals, that type of stuff for bands, live bands. We're going to get the Crow Garage going here soon, and on the show we're going to have live bands playing in the garage outside. But that's part of it. We'll get all that set up. We do things on Friday nights for local football teams at high school. We use a program to capture games and replay on the sidelines for coaches. So if you have any need for any of that kind of stuff, give us a holler.
10-4. We'll be back in just a minute. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to the show. Ron was telling us, give us a history rundown, what he's been doing. So, Ron, how long have you been doing this stuff?
Casino world, I've been 18 years, and then basically 30 years in the music business. Started when I was out of high school. So,
Awesome.
Long time.
Awesome. What you got coming up over the Golden Nugget?
The
premier casino in Louisiana.
Yeah, it is a premier casino. Yeah, we got a lot of shows. We did 104 shows last year. We'll do about that many this year, and we got this Friday. We got Tracy Lawrence, February 1st, and this is like his third time playing, and he does a great job. And we got people like Johnny Gill coming in. We got Michael McDonald in the month of February. We got Johnny Lane, big blues guy, and we got Sticks. Sticks is coming in. Yeah, February 16th, and man, you can't. We just do so much different kind of show. You can see that we do country, the Johnny Gill crossover, to a blues act like Johnny Lane, and with Sticks. And we got Michael McDonald coming in the month, which I'm really excited about. This is my third time working with him, and you talk about he has some A-list cats that play with me.
Oh,
So it's really good
I'd like to hear that. I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, you can check out the website, see all the entertainment we have. It's GoldenNuggetLC.com.
Awesome.
We got a lot of shows posted up there, and we're booking more shows. So it's a full-time job.
Hey.
More than full time. He's always working.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Our guest of the week, Ron Richey with the Golden Nugget. Laid out. Go check him out. Go check out the site. In our true form of always something cooking, Ron has prepared us a jambalaya. We're going to try that out. We'll be back with you in just a second. We'll be back with a big plate of jambalaya that Ron made for us. John, you want to tell us a little bit about the jambalaya, how you made it?
It's a traditional brown jambalaya, like we do in the jambalaya capital of the world, Gonzales, Louisiana. We call ourselves so traditional. So it's basically pork.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay, a little hungry. Big guy. Got a little pork. Got some smoked sausage and onions, and a little seasoning, and you season to your flavor, and that's basically it. And rice, extra long grain rice, about a half. And that's it in a nutshell, but very simple. Brown jambalaya.
Cool. I know you're a big long-term fan of the Jazz Fest that's coming up.
Very much.
What they got going on at Jazz Fest? Can you tell us anything?
Well, Jazz Fest, it's the premier festival in America, and this year, this might be the best ever. This year, I
think they got the Stones there.
They got the Stones. They sold out in one day for that show. They got the Stones. You got
Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton. It's just so many acts, and it's so good. And the Neville Brothers, not Neville Brothers, but Aaron Neville will be back there. You got Sonny Landreth, which I got a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Bridges on.
Yeah.
Representing. He signed it right here, too.
Jonathan Boogie Long's going to be there.
Yeah, Jonathan,
Blues guitar player.
Yes. Tad Benoit.
Guy.
All these Louisiana cats, plus they bring in all these other guys, but it's so many people. And then, what's really cool about Jazz Fest, in my opinion, is the after shows.
Yeah.
What's going on around town. They got so many things that are going on everywhere. I mean, Rock and Roll, Howlin' Wolf, all these places have shows, and it's a party to itself. And, that's the real cool thing about Jazz Fest and stuff. And they got people that come from all over the world. I mean, I went there when I went last year to Rock and Roll, seen Sonny and Tad play. I met people from New York. I met people from North Carolina. I met an old lady there that she used to be Stevie Wonder's monitor person.
Cool.
Yes, and I met her through Brian Brignac, drummer for Sonny, and our cousin from Gonzales, Boy, she ran for 20 years. She ran his in-ear monitors.
Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah,
20 years.
so 20 years and then see.
I always say that's the worst gig to have on a show like that. Is the monitor mix.
Yes, it can be. It can be the best or the worst. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like if everything goes right, then it's the best.
That's awesome.
But Jazz Fest is in itself is there's not really a festival in America, or maybe in the world that does what Jazz Fest does with New Orleans. It's incredible.
Well, the jambalaya must be good. I noticed it disappearing while we were talking over
Well,
there.
yeah, Corey's eating all up. He ain't even talking. He's eating.
They better hurry and meet some of theirs. I might take that too.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Well, we had a great time. We appreciate you coming hang out with us, Ron.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks for the jambalaya. We're going to try that in a little bit. Well, Corey, but it's a little bit. Go ahead. Tell us how it is.
It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. We've been cooking it all our lives. I think everybody in the family can cook it. So
Yeah, we learned from Daddy. So
yeah.
Is it up to Gonzalez?
Oh yeah, most
I think so.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
yeah. Just remember to take a look, watching the show. We're gonna have the recipe on the show for you. I know most of us in Louisiana know how to cook it, but for those who don't, this is not a New Orleans jambalaya. This is a Gonzalez jambalaya, which is a little bit different. It's brown. It's a Cajun jambalaya. New Orleans jambalaya is more of a Creole jambalaya, so they put tomatoes in there. It's not that it's bad, but we
Spanish
like
influence.
It's
a Spanish influence.
Yeah, well, even the rice is a Spanish influence too.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we really appreciate y'all tuning into the show and look forward to seeing y'all next week.
Yeah. Well, until next time.
Until next
It was
time.
a hoot and a holler from a coot and a collar. Have a great day.
Thank you.